What's going on, everybody? I'm Primalliquid and welcome to my guide for Atelier Sophie 2. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys not only how to start really raising your quality on synthesis items, but also how to completely max it out at 999, and then also how to spread it around to other items. So, without further ado, let's jump into it, shall we? Now, one of the biggest things to actually know about synthesis in Atelier Sophie 2 is there are a few different ways of increasing quality. So if I just very quickly load it up on this craft, for example, now when it comes to the basic quality, you've got you've got your different materials with their starting quality. That's perfectly fine, but you're not really gonna get 999 quality just relying on those basic items, at least until endgame, and you've already made your maximum quality garden seeds anyway. So for now, let's just throw a couple of random items in there, and you'll see at the very bottom there is a super success rate. Now, the further you get that up, the higher your chance of actually getting what is called a super synthesis, which will increase your finishing quality at the end. Now, that increase isn't really all that amazing, to be honest. It does come in handy though, which I will also touch on momentarily. Other than that, there are a few other ways. So if we take a look at character stats right here. Now, when it comes to synthesis, you do need to do all the friendship events with all the characters, because you will get synthesis skills via them, and they are incredibly important. When it comes to quality, the big one is going to be the first assist skill, which is quality, and then an element depending on the character, which increases the quality by the number of light links. Not all that amazing, to be honest, on paper, but it does come in handy and it helps later. Now, what is the most important thing when it comes to quality? While there's no easy loop like in, the last few Atelier games where, you can just keep on and on and on throwing the items together and you will eventually get max quality. Unfortunately, that is not really the case here. There are quality loops, but they are not as good, unfortunately. So we are going to have to completely abuse traits in Sophie 2. And I don't just mean, one quality trait is enough, you just keep spamming a few items with that. No, unfortunately not. We do need to go through the whole shebang here. So, let's actually look at the traits. Now, Sophie 2 actually allows you to get some pretty high level traits very quickly. You can get quality and quality plus pretty much straight at the start of the game. We don't really care about them. Now, it is the same as other ateliers where, if you combine quality and quality plus, you get well made. If you combine quality plus and quality plus, you get pro perfection. Combine pro perfection and well made and you get superb quality, which increases item quality by 30%. Now, one thing to note is in Atelier Sophie 2, you can have double traits. And what I mean by that is in previous games, if I had superb quality, but then I also tried to have well made and pro perfection on, it wouldn't work. That well made and that pro perfection would automatically combine and essentially just give me one single superb quality, and I wouldn't be able to use pro perfection or well made. That's why in previous games, when it came to quality traits, you would typically go with something like superb quality, pro perfection, and then quality plus, just to stop the combination of pro perfection and well made. That is not the case this time. If you want to, you can have superb quality, pro perfection, and well made. If you already have superb quality on an item, if that's already in the trait list, pro perfection and well made will not merge. Don't know if it's a bug or a feature. I'm hoping it's a feature, but it could potentially be a bug, and maybe we won't have this in the next Atelier game. Now, you can get pretty high quality just relying on superb, pro, and well. The downside is, I had these by, just around before the halfway mark of the game. I was not able to make a 999 quality item. If I kept at it long enough and literally went through the synthesis steps hundreds of times, relying on super synthesis to actually get me over the limit, then yes, I probably could have made maximum quality at the halfway point, but it's not worth it in terms of a time investment, as I learned. Because we can actually get Ultimate Masterpiece, which is a new quality trait where you have to combine superb quality and a new trait called Ultimate Power. Now, this is one of the more endgame traits, to be honest. However, do not worry. It's not rare. You don't have to, you don't have to farm bosses, optional bosses, or strong monsters, or anything like that. Chances are, like, once you get to, like the last area, or even before the last area, you've probably got, a good 50, 60 items with this on. It's really not as rare as you might think. And that's probably due to the fact of how many combination skills there bloody are in this game. Oh, but that's a rant for another video. Anyway, when it comes to getting maximum quality, there are 3 things we need, and that is Ultimate Masterpiece, Superior Quality, and Pro Perfection. These 3 traits are going to be what helps you get everything to maximum quality. So the moment you can get all these 3 traits, you're good to go. Now, when it comes to initially starting off with going for maximum quality, we're going to start off with a very simple loop. You can unlock this loop pretty early in the game. Probably around, 4 or 5 hours into the game, you could probably get this loop set up. You just wouldn't really be able to take full advantage of it that early, unfortunately. Now, once you've actually got all 4 of these items unlocked, I'm not going to go through the whole recipe log and, show how to unlock them and things like that. You get these early enough that I don't see the point. Anyway, once you've got the white neutralizer, pure water, spirit tears, and refresh oil, we can start looping all 4 of these items into each other. Now, it doesn't really matter all that much where you start, but essentially what you want to do is you want a neutralizer, and then with that neutralizer, you want to make a refresh oil. Using that refresh oil, you would then go ahead and make a pure water. With the pure water, you would then make a spirit tears. And then finally, the spirit tears can go into the neutralizer as well, or you could just put the pure water into the neutralizer. It's like, honestly, realistically speaking, you don't actually need the spirit tears in this loop. I simply originally used them because it helped in spreading traits around early on. Now, you can eliminate that if you want to. It is entirely up to you. I would suggest leaving it in, though, for an easier time on traits. So, if we actually look at the catalysts right now, there is Growlia, Limiter, Resolia, Storager, and Absorptor. Now, in terms of the actual quality level, these really don't matter, use whatever. Early on, really does not matter in the slightest. However, as you start getting to later game, or you actually want to get the effects along with quality, I would strongly suggest the Growlia Catalyst, just because that is way easier to actually hit the end game effects. Make sure you turn it to restricted panel as well. Okay, now when it comes to the actual synthesis step, the first one, it's not going to be all that good, let's be honest here. You don't really have high quality items or anything like that. So you want to go to traits and actually get, your superb quality, get that on an item. You want to get your ultimate masterpiece, get that on, and so on and so forth. Once you actually have your item made, or should I say, once you start making your item, let's just dump some random things in. What you want to do is you want to try and fill as many lines up here as possible. So, for example, if I filled this entire top row in, like, doesn't really matter if, something's off or anything like that. As long as that top row is filled in, we will actually gain a little bonus to the super success rate at the end of the synthesis. Links don't really matter for this stage. If you want to go for the assist skill, go for the assist skill. Not all that important. But essentially, you just want to make a normal neutralizer. Aim for as high quality as possible with those traits. And then, once you've got your quality, you can also start working on the effects if you want. I don't recommend working on the effects and quality until you are more in the late game, simply due to the fact it is much easier to get higher quality materials later in the game. For example, in the very first, in fact, no, I probably shouldn't show the areas. In the very first area of the game, you can find, a bunch of items. They'll be around 20 quality. You can then go to the very last area of the game, find the same items. They have way more elemental properties, and they have way higher quality. I could go to the last area, for example. Pretty much every item I gather there is 100 quality. Can't really seem to get higher from normal gathering, but you can get higher from super gathering. But the big thing there is the elemental properties. If you actually want to get all the effects on these low-end items, you are going to need those extra elements, unfortunately. Now, when it comes to these 4 items, you know, you've started spreading them out. Go to the shop, duplicate them once they're made, and so on and so forth. If you start losing quality, which can happen if you try this too early, or you don't have the ultimate masterpiece trait, what you can do is save before the synthesis. And if you get a super synthesis, great, your item is now higher quality, you're good to go. If you don't get a super synthesis, just reload your save, try again until you do. A super synthesis using the trait superb quality, pro perfection, and well made will always end up nudging your quality up, even if only slightly. However, unlike something like Ryza and Ryza 2, getting maximum quality is very much a late game thing. It is possible earlier on. It is a waste of time earlier on. You're not really going to be able to maximize anything like that early. So I do suggest just waiting until, you know, you don't have to be at post game, but at least pretty far in the game. Another thing that really helps with creating max quality items, and this is where we're going to start getting into, you know, creating every item with max quality, which again, you know, is much harder than previous games. It does come down to, as you might have guessed, seeds. Because yes, seeds are back. Now ignore these, I just had to craft these to get them off my my bar. If I just very quickly run on up a little, okay, well I can't see anything there. But look at these items, you know, 900 quality, 600, 700, 700, 999. If you want to get things with quality that high, you are going to need to rely on seeds. They are all back in the game. Now, unfortunately, it is more annoying in Sophie 2 than, say, Ryza 2 with gardening. So this is the Atelier, just outside the Atelier. Once you gain access to seeds, you do need to first do some friendship events as well with Olius. I keep forgetting his name. He is essentially the one who gives you the first greenhouses. And yes, we are going to plant individual seeds in these greenhouses. Again, you know, once you make your 999 quality seed with all the effects, just go and duplicate it a whole bunch of times. Make sure you keep at least one of them locked. Like right here, you know, the locked ones are my perfect seeds. Well, apart from fire, I couldn't get max quality on that when I made it. Probably could now, but I'm not gonna bother, to be honest. It's not really worth it for a tiny little bit of quality like that. Anyway, there are 4 different greenhouses, and how you control weather in the game also affects your seeds. So for example, right here we have the snow greenhouse. This means any seed that we put in there will give us items from snowy areas, likewise sunshine from sunshine areas, rain for rainy areas, and thunderstorm for thunder areas. You can put any seed in any greenhouse, which does of course mean, you know, you're gonna be planting a lot to make sure you get all of the different items. I wasn't really getting a, you know, a very big selection of items until I was planting seeds by the hundreds. Once you get to that point, you know, you'll start getting a good variety of items with a good variety of elemental properties and quality. Now, I know I really shouldn't in this video because this video is pretty much all about quality, but I am going to talk about one thing as well, which is going to be the gathering tools. Now, when it comes to these gathering tools, you're never going to get really high quality materials from them. You can increase the quality of items from super gathering, but you're never really going to get over 150 or anything like that. The only thing you really want from these tools is very high elemental effect items. And if I very quickly load up the container right now, if I just do components, no, that's not something I'm after. Tell you what, let's just filter an individual element. So something like here, this rustproof heart. As you can see, it's got a lot of these stars on the elements. That's really what you want, and that's gonna be from super gathering, like that one right there. You know, 4 links, and so on and so forth. This is how you are going to get all the effects on items, or as many effects as you can, while also maintaining quality, basically. It's like, don't worry if you finish up a seed at, you know, like 200, 300 quality, because unfortunately, there is no instant max quality like in Ryza 2. You are going to have to work your way through the seeds slowly. For example, my first set of seeds, they were around 100 quality. My second batch were around 250. After that, I managed to make a couple around the 500 to 600 mark. And then my final seeds were max quality with all of the effects. I honestly don't think I could have, I don't think I could have made the seeds from 0 to 100 instantly. Without all those added materials with way higher quality, I don't think it would have been possible. So do take your time, and that is why I say maximum quality is going to be a more an endgame thing rather than an early or mid-game like previous titles. But that is going to be it for this video, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope it's helped. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will try my hardest to answer them. And of course, if this video did help, make sure you hit that like button as well. And for more Atelier Sophie guides, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got quite a lot more coming, including ultimate items, ultimate gear, the best setups, best combinations, and also how to turn our lovely little fairy Plaxer here into basically a one-shotting war machine. So definitely look out for that one. As always, everybody, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.